Pokemon Legends ZA demo coming out of Worlds is giving us even more information. We got a bonanza of Pokemon information for you today. So we got some information on returning features, one of which I'm very proud of, and another one I'm a little sad is probably not coming back. We got some more information about Legends ZA. Let's talk about it. YouTube, my name is Mario, aka the Loot Box Hero. Check out the second channel, go to the second channel, is popping, aka the real Super Mario, aka YouTube's greatest fat man here, bringing you another video. Alright, so we have more information coming out of the Pokemon Worlds demo for Pokemon Legends ZA. So we're gonna go ahead and hop on into it. So IGN did their little preview, and Stealth kind of did a little preview of IGN's preview, where it says IGN Pokemon Legends ZA preview says it ran well. It looked moderately better than the Switch 2 versions of Scarlet and Violet. Battles feel like an MMO. Ew, don't really like that. Casting time, cooldowns, and behind the scenes math. So basically a lot of RNG type of stuff. Trainer battles not as interesting as Rogue Mega Absol battle. At the very least, the massive performance issues Scarlet and Violet had don't seem to be in ZA. So that alone gets me pretty excited. So basically, they finished ZA and they put it on good, competent hardware. That's what it is. I'm gonna stand 10 toes down on this, okay? One of the big reasons why Scarlet and Violet released the way it was, other than the fact that Game Freak rushed the game, was the fact that it was on that old hardware. I love the Switch, I love my Switch, but that hardware was so old by the time Scarlet and Violet came out. And that was a couple years ago, okay? So, yeah. So the other thing about the battles felt like MMOs, I kind of see that. All right, because a little later in the video, we're going to look at some of the cooldowns. I can't believe I'm talking about cooldowns and I'm not talking about Overwatch. I'm talking about Pokemon. There are cooldowns in Pokemon, bro. I don't know what timeline we live in now. You know, casting times is an interesting thing. Because if you don't know what casting times are like, casting times are basically like the amount of time it takes for you to cast the attack or the spell, right? Like if you look at something like Wu Yang, right? Wu Yang from Overwatch, he has to do like this flip and smash his staff on the ground to do his little wave attack that heals his allies and it pushes back his enemies and gives them damage. So the cast time is basically the time it takes for him to do that animation. That's a cast time. So now we're gonna have that in Pokemon. So the time it takes for the Pokemon to do the animation for the move, before the move, the time between you pressing the button, the Pokemon doing the animation, and then the move goes out, that is the cast time. So certain moves probably are gonna have a longer cast time than others, the same way they have a longer cooldown time. So that is interesting. That is interesting. Trainer battle is not as interesting as the Rogue battle because, of course, you're not fighting a big giant Elden Ring boss of a Pokemon. You're fighting regular Pokemon, you know. So then we have the map of Lumiose. So this is something a lot of people were talking about too. They were saying that the map looks bland. They were saying that it looks bad. I'm like, for one, we can't see all the stuff that you can do here. All right, because they've got most of that stuff hidden on the map. They just have the locations that you can go to, and these are probably wild areas more than likely. That's probably what they are. You know, they're probably wild areas or either areas pertinent to the demo, the story in the demo. So they're not gonna give you all the locations, you know what I'm saying, that you can go to in the demo because they don't want to spoil everything. Like, one of the reasons why the demo is not gonna be for everybody is because The last time they did something like that was not Sword and Shield. It was Sun and Moon. It was Sun and Moon, and it spoiled a bunch of stuff. Somebody got the demo, data mined the demo. They found all the new Pokemon, all the new regionals. It was crazy, and I covered it back in the day. So yeah, they're not gonna do that again. So yeah, they already got problems with the daggone Terra leaker. They're not gonna do that again. So you know. So speaking of interesting things about the game, so they said the Gare de Lumios, which is the train station, they said that this train station was constructed as part of the urban redevelopment plan. It connects Lumios to the airport. So the train station's always been there though. All right, it was there in X and Y. All right, so what do they mean that this was part of the redevelopment plan? Like, unless this is not the first redevelopment plan, which kind of works because, I mean, Paris has had multiple redevelopment plans. Just the big one we remember was that first one that modernized the city. But that's not the only one. So maybe this was a previous redevelopment plan, or maybe they rebuilt or completely redid the train station. And since they said this connects to the airport, either A, this is where you start, because we've already found out that you aren't from Lumios, so you actually come from somewhere else, and you're moving into Lumios. So this could be where you start, where you get off the plane at the station. Or maybe this is gonna be like some destination for like DLC. So you take this to take a plane out of Lumios to go somewhere else. But I kind of doubt it. I don't know if this game's gonna have DLC. But I mean, they kind of missed a good opportunity to do DLC for Legends Arceus. Maybe they don't miss it for this one. We'll see. So then the next one is this one from Soul Silver Art. In Austin John Plays video, I noticed that the TPC Nintendo supervisor mentions that a special Pokemon that you will get later on is needed to break those obstacles. Maybe you can use your Mega Evolved Pokemon in the overworld to do tasks like this.
Blocks like this throughout the game. For now, we can't get through it. We need a special Pokemon, but...
Oh, it's supposed to go through the big red ominous gate.
Yes.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one. That's possible, but I don't know. I think what they're going to do is that they're going to be ride Pokemon again, like in Legends Arceus. All right. I think that you're gonna have to, get those Pokemon, and those Pokemon are gonna do the task for you. Or they can do like they do in Scarlet and Violet and have one Pokemon do it. Because remember, in Scarlet and Violet, you rolled Koraidon or Miraidon. Maybe you'll do the same thing in this game for Zygrade or Zygarde. Maybe you'll ride Zygarde around. And Zygarde, he'll turn into his different forms, and the different forms will be the different ride Pokemon or different things you need him to do. Maybe he'll turn into his big form to break boulders, or maybe he'll turn into his, the snake form, since it's a ground type, to move the boulders out of the way or disintegrate them with his ground powers or whatever. Maybe I think that might be what it is. Maybe once you get Zygarde on your team or get Zygarde to work with you, then you'll be able to get through some of those obstacles or whatever. But it's kind of funny that they have obstacles like this in a city. Why are there a bunch of rocks just blocking the road? Like, we doing an urban redevelopment plan? Like, ain't nobody fixed that? Where's the backhoe? Right? Where's the construction teams? Why ain't nobody removing the rocks? Like, that's weird. That's probably why we need a redevelopment plan in the first place. All right, so a little bit of bad news here is it looks like abilities are not coming back. So we got a shot of Chikorita. I think this is the Pokédex status screen for Chikorita, and you've got the typing here, you've got the category of the attacks, you got everything here, but there's no abilities. It does not show an ability. It shows a nature in one of them, but it doesn't show an ability for Chikorita. So it looks like abilities are not coming back. So they halfway fixed it. We got hold items back, but still no abilities. So here's the thing. So what does this mean for Mega Kangaskhan? Because remember, the biggest thing about Mega Kangaskhan was his ability. All right. All right. So what does that mean? Is he trash now? Like I already kind of rated him trash in my ranking video for all the Mega Evolutions. Does this mean that he is trash? Like, so speaking of battling though, so you've got the wild zones. So in that map we saw before, those green areas were probably wild zones, and we see this one picture shows that it looks like you're gonna have the same thing that you have in Legends Arceus, where you have to catch all of the Pokemon in the area to unlock a different area. I think they're doing this for wild zones. So you see where it says 42%. So it looks like if you have to catch all the Pokemon in a wild zone in order to unlock a different wild zone. That's what I think they might be doing, which to be honest is fine. I didn't really care about it as long as I can just go around it. As long as I'm not like unlocking parts of the city. All right, if I can't wander around the city because I got to catch all the Pokemon in this alley somewhere, that's kind of lame. You know what I'm saying? But if I got to catch all the Pokemon in one zone to unlock another one, like that's fine. I don't have an issue with that. So the next thing we talking about here is the cooldowns. So we have some of the moves from the game. We have Leafage, Tackle, Tail Whip, and Thunder Shock. And we see that they replaced accuracy with cooldown. So accuracy is not really a thing anymore because, again, this is an action RPG. All right, they're not going to go full Morrowind and have you hit an attack and then a little thing come up says, miss, that would suck, okay? That's a little too RPG, you know? So they're going to, they're going to go with accuracy is gone, and now cooldowns are here. So we see that Leafage has a 6 second cooldown, or 6 seconds is a long time, but you know, Tackle has a 4 second cooldown. Tail Whip has a 7 second cooldown. Like that's kind of a significant cooldown. Like if you're an Overwatch player, 7 seconds is not a short amount of time. Like that's kind of a long time. That's a significant cooldown. So that means maybe lowering stats is a pretty big thing in the game, specifically defense. And then of course Thunder Shock, which can do a status ability and do damage, has a shorter cooldown than Tail Whip. So either they just botched the balance of the game, which is entirely possible. This is Game Freak, by the way, or Tail Whip and like these status lowering moves, these stat lowering moves are going to be pretty significant in the game. So moving on to another shot that we have from the game. So this one's a clip where it looks like you can sneak up on trainers and initiate a sneak attack trainer battle. And basically what it does is you basically just jump them. You throw your Pokemon out there, your Pokemon just runs up and attacks them from behind like this was WWE. You know what I'm saying? That's essentially what it is. Like you jumping somebody backstage. And it's like, oh, okay, so that's how this works. Because yesterday I wanted to know, like, how does it work to, like, get jumped? Like, what kind of disadvantage does that put you in? Well, it puts you in a disadvantage that he just busts you in the back of the head from the start. Like, so that's kind of crazy. That's the advantage that you get when you jump somebody. So watch your back, all right? Because the ops is out there, okay? The ops is out there in the field, you know. The other thing that was a surprising mechanic that came back from old Pokemon games was the way Pokemon battles work, the way trainer battles work. So now if a trainer catches your eye, if they see you, specifically during the Z challenge or whatever, the battle starts. So it's not like this, oh, I'm just a trainer, you can fight me if you want to. Like, no, if they see you, it's on sight, literally, okay? And I was like, yeah, I love this mechanic. Because one of the things I didn't like about Scarlet and Violet was the optional trainer battles. Like, why are they even here? You know, especially with like XP share, like I'm already gonna be over level. If I want to keep my Pokemon at a good level where the game won't be super easy, I might as well not even fight these people. Now that it's mandatory, that's a little bit more interesting. All right, so the last thing I wanted to talk about in this video is a bit of bad news or a weird maybe non-controversy, maybe controversy. We don't know. So we have Jan says, man, they're really trying to slide the Gen Z dialect within the localization, because let's be real, in any previous games, your rival would never say they want to see you cooking outside of battle. I mean, outside of a kitchen. So I don't think cooking is like Gen Z. I think if they said, oh man, let her cook, like that's some Gen Z lingo. All right, that's some of that cringe type of lingo. And this has been a thing for a while in video games. I'm going to do another video on localizations. I already have one. I think there's more to say when it comes to localizations, because people really hate localizations now, mainly because of the whole culture war aspect and all that other kind of stuff. But I don't think they're trying to Gen Z up the localization. But if they were, I mean, I don't really see why it's a bad thing, because you got to remember, even though we are all old, elder millennials or whatever who played the game, it's actually targeted at the Gen Zers. Remember, it's still a kid's game at the end of the day. So it's not really targeted at us. We just tend to like it. You know, there's another line they were talking about too. It said, one more W should get you up to 1,000 points. So I think they're talking about the Z challenge that happens at night. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? So that's about it for the information that we have so far. Tell me what you think in the comments down below, because you know comments are the currency of YouTube now. Comments and engagement. So like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff to help the channel. Tell me what you think. Do you think that this localization is going to be trash? Do you think that people are overreacting? Tell me what you think. Like, comment, subscribe, and as always, people, keep it real.